the middle of the year is here. How? Genuinely, the last thing I remember is April. And, okay, believe it or not, the first half of 2024 has been just what the kids call mid. I would say it's tough, but apparently that's not how you use a term anymore. Personally, April, May, and June have been tough in the bad sense, but it's fine. I'm good. I worked through what I needed to work through, and now I'm good. We're here. We're doing the things that we need to do. But with that being said, we've gotten a lot of good. We've gotten a lot of not good, which is fine. It's just been okay overall in terms of 2024. And before we begin, make sure to check out a middle of the year playlist with these 3 videos in the link below and my social media links as well. I have only seen 29 movies to date. I wanted to see more movies, but once again, April through June had been tough. Bad tough. Should I start saying rough? So honestly, there are movies I haven't seen like the Godzilla x Kong, Apes franchise, Kung Fu Panda 4, Ghostbusters Afterlife, Furiosa, The Bike Riders, Babes, and pretty much any horror movie because I'm not really a horror movie guy. And now you can get back to whichever version this you're watching. There we go. Nevertheless, we are only going to talk about the 5 worst movies so far because I don't know if the list is gonna change really that much. And the thing about me is that when it comes to movies, I only watch really what I want to watch or what I have interest to watch. And then if I'm utterly disappointed or it's just not good, then you know, it's not good. So I have seen a couple other people's lists. I made my list well before, but when I was watching other people's lists, there's just really weird, obscure movies that I have never heard of, and some movies that I know I'm never gonna watch because I know it's not gonna be good. So these are the movies that, again, that have piqued my interest in some capacity, and then totally disappointed my expectations. So starting out at number 5, we have Lift from Netflix. Honestly, this movie is the most generic heist movie that I have seen, and which is weird because it takes place entirely in, almost entirely, like half of the movie takes place on a plane because that's what they're going to heist. It's so formulaic, and not just that. The actors seem to either not care at all about being in this movie or they care way too much being in this movie, being what the movie ended up being. The lines are insanely cringy, and I don't know if anybody was able to make any of their lines work. Vincent D'Onofrio did not make any of his lines work. Kevin Hart, even though it was produced by him, he felt like the most disinterested in the movie. Gugu Mbatha-Raw seemed to care a little too much in this movie. Billy Magnuson is unfortunately in this movie. It's just really bad acting on all counts. Once again, the writing is insanely generic and it's somehow worse than dumb, but not stupid, just dumb. And honestly, that's just what it is. It's just boring on all counts, and literally nobody in the movie seems like they want to be in the movie. Everyone just seems like they're just cashing in their paycheck and moving on with life, which is what you should do because you should not watch this movie. It's boring. Coming in at number 4 is the Garfield movie with a 3. This is directed by Mark Dindal, a 63-year-old man, but we'll get there. And it stars Chris Pratt as the titular Garfield. Honestly, I don't know how to not be mean about this movie, so I'm just gonna be mean about this movie. It's not good. My friend and I were talking about which movie is worse, and I know a lot of people like Super Mario Bros. Movie, but I think that movie is also one of the worst movies. In terms of story, it's fun overall, but in story, I can't do it. And I'm a story guy. I like writing. I'm a writer, so that's why. This is just Garfield and Garfield in name only, which can be fine if you're gonna do something like this. The only issue is this was written and directed by once again a 63-year-old man, and this isn't a family movie. It's clearly a kids movie, and the theme is not for its target audience. And I, as a degree holder for advertising and public relations, really take it personally when marketing and advertising are not done correctly, and things like this end up being what we get, and just kind of just mucks everything up for everyone because no one enjoyed the movie. Almost everyone in my theater walked out. teenagers, families with kids, and adults. They didn't finish the movie. They all walked out. I wanted to walk out with them, but I said, I'm gonna finish the movie. It has to be that bad. And it was really that bad. I wanted to walk out, but I said, it's almost over. It's almost over. It didn't feel like it was almost over. That's how much the movie might end up being lower on the list. I don't know. The point that I'm trying to make is that the target audience is for children. So why are you making a movie about a father who abandoned his kid? But well, wait, that's not exactly what happened. It was a misunderstanding. Sorry for spoiling the movie, but again, you're never gonna watch the movie. None of this is what I wrote, but it's just this. The storylines are bad. They are just repetitive. All the things, John's not in the movie. He's like in it for like maybe 4 minutes total. And the best parts of the movie are towards the beginning when you see Garfield doing his silent antics in a restaurant and John's trying to get him. Those are the best parts of the movie when it's him interacting with John. But then when you add this made up father all of a sudden, I have a wonderful relationship with my father, by the way. It's not that. I think it's just the fact that kids nowadays are not going to relate to what's happening. I think that's why a lot of people left, because they're just like, you know what? We're tired of specifically Chris Pratt only being in daddy issue movies, but then also at the same time daddy issue movies. That's what this movie is. It is Daddy Issues, the movie with Garfield's skin. It's not a fun time at all whatsoever. It's jokes are explained, points are redundant. It's just the worst writing I've seen probably in a long time. Coming in at number 3 is Madam Web with a 2.8. This is directed by S.J. Clarkson and stars Dakota Johnson and Sydney Sweeney, both of whom I think did the best what they could with the material that they were given. And honestly, this movie I think gets an award. I mean, I don't want to give it a Razzie Award, but I mean, let's give it an Internet Award for being the most memeable movie of this year. I suppose. I mean, it's not really that memeable. It's just iconically bad, and that's just what it is. The writing, the editing, and just the studio interference and the original plot, it's not good. S.J. Clarkson worked on Jessica Jones, and you can totally see all of the similarities between them. Halt. Sorry, well, I mean, you can proceed. But I already made a review about this movie, so you can go ahead and check that out. But I just want to say that when it comes to comparing this movie and Morbius, I genuinely believe that Morbius is far worse. I can sit through Madam Web. It's a fun time to wine, dine, and compline. But like Morbius, I fell asleep through it, and I thought I fell asleep through a lot of it, but apparently it was only 2 minutes because I tried watching the movie like months ago after watching Madam Web, and I couldn't do it. I can sit down and watch Madam Web with a couple friends and make fun of it. I can put it on in the background because it's so hilariously awful. But Morbius, absolutely not. But that is no excuse for having bad movies. But again, this is so hysterically bad, I can sit down and watch it. Again, wine, dine, and compline. Coming in at number 2 is The Book of Clarence with a 2.3. This is directed by Jaime Samuel, or maybe it's James Samuel. I'm sorry if I mispronounced either of those. And I actually saw this movie because of the AMC Screen Unseen way back when. To quote my friend, it felt like it was trying to make me laugh at God, and I don't want to do that. That makes me feel uncomfortable, and I would agree. Honestly, we would have walked out of the movie, but we both didn't want to say anything to the other person because we thought the other person wanted to finish the movie, and low-key, I did. I was interested to see where this movie was going to go, and genuinely, and I'm gonna talk a little bit of spoilers because I really don't care, but I genuinely thought this movie was saying that Lakeith Stanfield's character, the brother of Thomas, twin brother of Thomas the Disciple, would end up being the thief on the cross, the one who turns at the very last minute and becomes a Christian on the cross. I thought that's what the movie was going to say, and I was kind of holding out for that because we don't know anything about the thieves on the cross. We really don't. So the creative liberties is a little bit there, but that is not what they did. It is not what they did. They were kind of like dancing before the sacrilegious line. They were even on the line. They were just looking at it. But then I don't know what happened. They just teleported. They fully just teleported to the on the other side of the line, and 'twas crossed. And I said, we gotta go. But then the movie ended. There's a lot of gray area when adapting stuff from different religions. But I mean, honestly, it's why China doesn't really like anything that we do, because we get it wrong all the time. I don't like it. I enjoy Lakeith Stanfield's work, but this was too much. This was too far for me. So it for me, deservingly on the number 2 spot. Yeah, some of the jokes were funny, yeah, but it just seemed like they were trying too hard, and then the bait and switch, I didn't appreciate it at all. Oh my goodness. And now for the number 1 worst movie of the year, and I genuinely believe this is going to be the worst movie of the year. And I saw Freelance last year, and I thought that was really awful. But this movie, this took the cake. Ethan Cohen and your wife Trisha Clark. What happened to you both? Listen, I already made a reel about this one, so you can go ahead and find that if you can find it. But I genuinely cannot find the words to make a full review about this, because it made me want to walk out more so than any of the other movies that I've seen. More than Garfield, more than Book of Clarence. But the treatment of the characters in this movie is shockingly bad. It's impressive. Really, honestly. Clap! A round of applause for Cohen and wife. You made trash. Every single individual in this movie is morally and ethically corrupt. I don't know how anyone can root for any of the individuals in this movie. Just of the things that they do and the things that they argue for and the things that just happen. It's just comedically awful. Once again, morally corrupt. Nobody in this movie is okay to get behind. Not the cops, not the main characters, not even well, I mean, of course, not the villains, but like almost worse are the main leads. I genuinely think Drive Away Dolls is one of the worst movies ever made. And I genuinely stayed for the end of the movie so that I can honestly say I've seen it, and that Drive Away Dolls is the worst movie of 2024 thus far. Sitting steady with a fat 1.8 out of 10. That is it. Let me know your list in the comments below. You can put 5, you can put 10, you can put 7, I don't care. Let me know what your favorite movies so far are, and which movies I should check out, because there are movies that I missed, that they're on my list, and I'm going to check them out when they come out. So if you have any recommendations, let me know. Even if they're bad, let me know, because sometimes they can be comedically bad, like Madam Web. I said what I said, and I placed it where I placed it. Maybe it'll move by the end of the year, who knows? I'ma go. My social media links are in the description below, and I will see you next time. I have a hair in my eye, and it's been there for 23 minutes since starting this video. And you've just been notified.